Last week, we were busy moving muck because we know that our neighbours are inevitably going to turn up and start harvest any day now. And that means we're going to be flat out baling straw. But with those guys not here yet, I'm going to do everything I can do to try and make some grass grow. But first, we've got some cow jobs we need to do. There is some bloody good calves in here. All right, go, calm down. We'll get there, we'll get there. If anyone who's got livestock, they'll know that there's like a particular way that a good calf or cow, but mainly calves, stand. They kind of stretch themselves. If you ever watch Crufts, you know, make them dog stand or funny, and they put their back legs kind of really far out and their front legs and they kind of really stretch. A good calf does the same thing, but they do it without being forced. And I tell you what, there is some bloody good calves in here. That one there, almost two. That's a heifer. That's a stonking heifer. Wow. It's nice when you can be impressed with your own stock. It's like, I don't want to show off, but you appreciate it. Just, there's a lot of work goes into it, and it's nice to see it kind of coming to fruition. I'll try and get this in the brook. There's a nice deep bit just there. Lovely. No, don't sit like that. Come on, play ball. Need to get some water in the pipe, that'll hold it down. There we go. Yeah, that's sat nicely. Oh, here's a nice one. Look at that little heifer calf. You're a beauty, you are. Hey? I do sometimes feel like I'm beating the horse to death when I keep going on about the fact we're struggling for grass this year. But we have struggled for grass, but despite that, I do think the cattle look really well. They've done well, but they always do well when there's sun on their backs. And that's one thing they've had plenty of this year, is sun on their backs. I've just moved these girls onto a fresh patch, because this field here, it's meadowland. So you come here on a wet year, and this is almost ungrazable. It is so wet that most of it will be underwater, and you have to be really careful down here. But you come here on a year like this, and it's one of the few places we've got where the grass is actually green. So I do think they're appreciating the variety, because they've been on some pretty sort of long, dry, fairly rankish stuff. So a bit of greenery seems to be going down a treat. To be fair, we often come in here in September time and we top all of these reeds because they just get worse. They're a really invasive plant and they're getting bad down here. And if it's dry enough this year, which I think it will be, we'll be all right. I've just been across them to get the water pump, which was over here, and drag it round and put it over there for the cows. And this is just a mat. It's just a complete layer of reeds, and it is getting awful. There are some drains under here that feed, they kind of go from the arable fields on the other side of that hedge, and they go down to the brook line. But the trouble is that to get to the brook line, this field is actually lower. So when the brook has some relatively average amount of water in it, the top of the brook is actually higher than the top of the field, which means the field just stays really wet. You can't therefore drain this part because you can't get water to run uphill. It's a well-known fact. So it's one of them, you just kind of have to manage it as best you can, trying to top them out, trying to graze it hard and see what you can do with them. But it is what it is. One of the jobs that I want to get done this week, and this weather is absolutely beautiful for it, is getting some tone fert on, because we had a few mil, and I mean a few mil, we had about 10 mil of rain last week, which is not a lot, but it's enough to get things moving. Things got greener and things are looking like they're growing a bit. So if we can try and make the most of that by getting some fertilizer on, hopefully we can try and at least make up for some sort of shortfall in this stuff. And we can probably defer a bit of grazing if we need to, or maybe make a bit more silage if we do get some rain. But the first thing I'll do is I've got to put these in, because I'm doing a full Jason Derulo this week and I'm riding solo. Dad's gone away, which is one of the glories of not having arable crops to worry about, because everyone else is busy combining and worrying about getting, you know, grain in the shed. We ain't got to worry about it because we haven't got any. I'm going to put these in the shed, and then we'll get tone fert out, get it all loaded up, because this beautiful cloudy weather is ideal for spreading some of that stuff. We don't want sun because the sun's too hot, but I think we're gonna have a couple of days of cloud, so we should be able to get a fair chunk done. One thing I will say is, I do think rotational grazing has saved our bacon big time this year. Dad was chatting to a fella the other day, and this is the kind of fella that knows a lot of fellas. He was saying that we're the only folks he knows that have actually got any grass. Having that kind of managed rest period has made sure we've got a bit of resilience in the system. So although we are short of forage, we're going to be all right on a grazing point of view, and I think that is probably a positive to pull from this, because I think there's a lot of folks out there at the minute who are struggling even from a grazing point of view, and I know some people that are feeding their winter forage because they've got no grass. So, you know, every cloud and all that. And this brings me on to a pet peeve of mine, rotational grazing. There we go, we've started something now. I have an issue with the name rotational grazing because I think it was made with all the best intentions in mind, but it's been a bit like regen farming, completely whitewashed, to the point where folks say they're rotational grazing and they're definitely not rotational grazing. To me, rotational grazing is you have to be moving cattle or sheep or whatever you're grazing at least once a week, minimum. Absolute minimum once a week. And in real terms, I would honestly go to the extreme of saying once every 3 days. If they're not being moved at least once every 3 days, it's not really rotational grazing. And if they're not being moved at least once every week, it's just managed set stocking. That's what that is. And it's got to the stage where I think we need a new name for rotational grazing, and I can't think of anything sexy enough. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure what come over me there. Whew, calm down. So we've got them stacked. I think there's 2, 4, 6, about 24 in a row, 2 on the top. So it's 26, and there's another 96 up the village, which is, oh, that's depressing. I thought we'd actually fill this. We're not, are we? We're not going to get to the door. The plan was, when we sort of said we're going to put them in here, that this year we'd fill this and that side and probably that one over there. That was the plan. But we're not even going to fill half of this. God, that's depressing. I'm having no luck either with that ground where the blokes died. And I'm trying to get hold of the estate agent. I did get hold of them, and they were supposed to be talking to the next of kin, but I've heard nothing. I wouldn't mind if someone else went in there and mowed it or grazed it, but it's just going to waste and it bothers me, especially in a year like this.
So with a lack of grass on my mind, I thought I would jump on one of my favourite toys. And no, it's not the tractor. It's the tow and fert. Because given the situation we're in right now, the best thing we can do is spread some foliar fertilizer. Because if we were to spread granular fertilizer, the lack of rain would mean it probably wouldn't work. Because granular fertilizer needs about 3 weeks to become plant available, but foliar fertilizer only needs 3 hours. And that means that the plant will be able to take in the nitrogen and store it in the roots, so when it does finally get the rain it needs, it is ready to go. But first, I need to bring her down to one of the brook bridges, because this girl is thirsty, and a stream is one of the only things that'll actually keep up with her.
One of the issues that I've kind of got is I'm a bit unsure of exactly how much fert to put on, like how much N. It's super tempting to chuck loads on because we've got a bit of moisture now, we can hopefully try and use it, but the forecast is dry still, and we're just getting the odd shower every now and then, and a lot of the time they're not even forecast, we just get them. So we can't rely on moisture. So as much as it's tempting to put on sort of 20 kilos of N, I'm thinking of dialing it back to maybe 10 or 12. If I put about 10 or 12 on and go over, it should be enough to get things moving quite nicely. And if, and it's a big if, we have enough moisture to keep going, I can always put more on. I can go again. But I'm conscious that we could scorch it and waste it if we get this wrong.
So once the girl had quenched her thirst, I needed to head back to the yard because it was time to do a little bit of maths.
So my thought process is, if I go 150 kilos of product, being urea, 46% nitrogen, we're looking therefore at about 8-ish kilos to the hectare. 175, 180 is going to give us just over 10, and 200 is going to give us about 12. I don't think we need to go more than 12. I'm thinking middle of the road here, and then I could go again with another 180 in a week or two if we get good weather. I think it's a safe bet. Let's do that.
First thing into the turnfert is some humates. Now take it from someone who knows. These things take a while to dissolve. So if you don't put them in first, you're going to spend a long time swinging off the wrong end of a pressure washer, cleaning out your filters, and contemplating your life choices. Next into the tank, we've got some Epsom salts. Now this is a source of sulfur, and it's going to help your nitrogen work a little bit better. Normally I put in a couple of kilos to the hectare, but I've upped it to 2.5 this time. And finally, some of the finest imported white powders known to man. 180 kilos of it to be exact.
The field we're going to first has got a couple of issues with it, I suppose. Firstly, we outwintered on there twice. Well, not twice, but 2 times last winter, which I'm not sure did it much good. I'm not saying it did it any harm, but perhaps the second time we shouldn't have gone over it. We started on that field, and then we went round and it had a good regrowth, so we went across it again. Obviously it was a super wet winter, but the second problem is probably the reason why we shouldn't have gone across it the second time. The second issue is that Severn Trent have 2 water mains in there. There's a big concrete one, which is a huge valve which redirects water like here, there and everywhere, all to little villages and water towers and reservoirs and whatever. And then the second one is a manhole that they use to check water quality. The problem with the second one is it's quite close to the top of the field. The field's on a bit of a bank, and they go in there periodically, check the water quality, but the stupid people who go in there don't turn the tap off, and then it floods the whole field. Now, I wouldn't be bothered if they were doing it at the minute, because it would be nice to have a bit of water, but they do it in the winter when it's already wet. The last winter was super wet, it was already wet, it got completely bogged out by the water, and it has killed a heap of the grass and the clover across the middle strip of the field. And it's just bloody annoying. Like, we just don't need it. Our water bill is about £1,000 a month. Like, just about £1,000 a month. And we get told that they haven't got the money for improving infrastructure, and then they go and just throw it down the drain by leaving the bloody tap on. Drives you mad. No wonder the country's in such a mess. I'm gonna have to calm down, or I'm gonna blow an artery or something, because that's 2 rants in one video. Whew. Honestly, I apologise. I don't know what's coming over me today. It must be something in the water. Something in the water. Honestly can't believe what I'm about to show you, folks. This is unbelievable scenes. Check this out. Evaporated a little bit. I had a look earlier. We've had 11 mil we had this morning of rain from nowhere. Oh, champion. Stick it back in there. Thank you very much. I ain't got a clue what was going on. I wasn't expecting it. And then all of a sudden, about 5 o'clock, I woke up and I could hear something because the window was open. And I was thinking, what was that noise? And it was rain. And it didn't half fall too. For a couple of hours, it was heavy rain. I'm excited because that means we've got toe and fur on and we've got some rain. So it's like a perfect combination. Oh, what timing. What timing. I've got a cow with a bad foot. Actually, it's a bull in Heifer. She's looking a bit sore. Let's see what we've got in here. Vets advise a bit of Ultra Pen and some Loxicon. So I'm going to need some Ultra Pen, which is obviously a penicillin, that's an antibiotic, and some Loxicon, which is a painkiller. Ultra Pen is 1 mil for 15 kilos, so I'm gonna want about 30 mils of that, and then this is 1 for 25, so I'm gonna need about 18 of this, which means I need some big syringes. I've got one here, that's a 30 mil syringe, but I need to find a long needle. I've got a nice short needle for this, because this one is subcutaneous, and this one is intramuscular. So I've got everything sorted out at the yard, just in case. These girls are a fair way off the yard, so what we're gonna have to do is just run a wire across some fields to get them back to the field that's at the side of the drive. And then, if needs be and I can't do it in the field, which is highly unlikely, I'll just be able to run them out of where they are, across this field with the fence to a gateway, down the side of the drive, into the yard, and into the handling system. One good thing about having cows that spend a lot of time inside of fences is that they respect them fairly well. God, this ground is hard. Jesus Christ. So, they will push through them if you push them too hard, but if you want to move them, then it's a great way of just getting them about the farm. And I'm on my own, so I need every bit of help I can get. The dog isn't much help, because she doesn't like the rain, which is a bit wet this morning. She doesn't like leaving the chair, and she's not much of a cow dog anyway. She's just more of a lap dog. Managing these cows is fairly easy when you're on your own, but it is helpful to have a hand, and obviously Dad's not here, so if I had a good cow dog, that would be really useful when you are on your own. But I don't know what is a good cow dog, to be honest. If anyone's got any tips on cow dogs, I'd appreciate it. For your entertainment and your entertainment only, I'm going to try and get this one. I used to do this when I was a kid out at Thornton. I say kid, like in my mid-teens, early 20s. I could run bloody quick. Now I can run a damn sight further than I could then, but I'm not sure I'm as quick. It's this girl here, this black one. I don't know, we'll go for antibiotics first. I'm not sure that I'm gonna get this though. She might have got a bad foot, but she's still got one more leg than I've got. Right, let me park up, see if I can get her. Right, go, come on. Play ball, play ball. Come on, go. Come on, go. You bloody thing. She's bloody quick. Yep, quicker than me. Right, back to the yard. You can see how bad it is. It's terribly swollen, but she actually walks on it pretty well, all things considered. So these fences are still on. Whoa, girls. I'm gonna just pull them up to open the gate. See if I can hook them to a tree. Let's open this one just in case they come. Hook this on a hedge somewhere. Hedges are pretty handy. I'll hook this one over there somewhere. And I can just put them back when they come back afterwards. Come on, girls! Come on! Go on, lad, lead him in, lead him in. Come on, boy. Beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. I spoke to the vets, and they reckon if I give them that Ultra Pen, that's quite long acting. So we should have sort of 72 hours then, by which point she should be on a road to recovery. It might not be gone down fully, but she should be getting there. Okay, she's in this yard somewhere. She's obviously one of the black ones, which whittles it down a little bit. I might not have to get too many out. Here she is, here she is, here she is. Come on, girl, come on, come on, go on. Don't run me around the thing. Go on that way, go on that way, go on that way. Take her out, come on, take her out, take her out, take her out. Go on, go, go on, go on. Yes! Happy days. Oh, just you and the big boy. Go for a date. That literally could not have gone better if I tried. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother running around in the field trying to jab it. Barracus has never been down before, so I'm not sure whether he'll even know what he's doing. But hopefully he'll play ball, because you're a nice little boy. Go on, take her with you, follow her down. Go on, boy. Go on, lad. Go on down, please. Go on down, come on down, go on down, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. Good boy. Well done. You're slowly becoming one of my favourites. If I just open the side look, you can see how swollen that one is compared to that one. This must be terribly tender. She walks on it surprisingly well though. So we'll give her a jab and see what happens. Then we'll go half this side, half the other side. Go on. Down to 15. Well done. Good girl. Right, let's see what happens.
Now we all know that cattle can't talk, but it's amazing what they do actually say. Any good stockman will tell you that if you spend time observing your livestock, they will show you everything that you need to know. So with that in mind, until next time, Baldy's Farm, over and out.